In continuation of yesterday's video, Yehoshua is we're going to continue with more attributes of Yehoshua, our Savior, which is, He is our forgiveness, righteousness, deliverer, fellowship, and example, to name a few. Ephesians chapter 1, verses 5 through 7. Because of His love, the Father had already decided to make us His own children through Yehoshua, our Savior. That was what He wanted and what pleased Him, and it brings praise to the Father because of His wonderful grace. Our Father gave that grace to us freely in the Savior, the one He loves. In the Savior, we are set free by the blood of His death, and so we have forgiveness of transgressions. How rich is the Most High's grace. Psalm chapter 85, verse 2. You forgave the guilt of the people and covered all their transgressions. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17. If anyone belongs to the Savior, there is a new creation. The old things have gone, everything is made new. Psalm chapter 103, verse 12. He has taken our transgressions away from us as far as the east is from west. 1 John chapter 2, verse 1. My dear children, I write this letter to you so you will not transgress. But if anyone does transgress, we have a helper in the presence of the Father, Yehoshua, our Savior, the one who does what is right. 1 John chapter 1, verse 9. But if we confess our transgressions, He will forgive our transgressions, because we can trust the Most High to do what is right. He will cleanse us from all the wrongs we have done. Isaiah chapter 43, verse 25. I am the one who forgives all your transgressions. For my sake, I will not remember your transgressions. Hebrews chapter 8, verse 12. I will forgive them for the wicked things they did, and I will not remember their transgressions anymore. Isaiah chapter 55, verse 7. The wicked should stop doing wrong, and they should stop their evil thoughts. They should return to the Most High, so He may have mercy on them. They should come to our Father, because He will freely forgive them. Colossians chapter 3, verse 13. Get along with each other and forgive each other. If someone does wrong to you, forgive that person, because the Most High forgave you. Mark chapter 11, verse 25. When you are praying, if you are angry with someone, forgive him, so that your Father in heaven will also forgive your transgressions. Colossians chapter 2, verse 13. When you were spiritually dead because of your transgressions, and because you were not free from the power of your transgression self, the Father made you alive with the Savior, and He forgave all our transgressions. Jeremiah chapter 33, verse 8. They transgressed against me, but I will wash away that transgression. They did evil and turned away from me, but I will forgive them. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 18. The Most High says, "Come, let us talk about these things. Though your transgressions are like scarlet, they can be as white as snow. Though your transgressions are deep red, they can be white like wool." Psalm chapter 32, verses 1 and 2. Happy is the person whose transgressions are forgiven, whose wrongs are pardoned. Happy is the person whom the Most High does not consider guilty, and in whom there is nothing false. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 21. The Savior had no transgression, but the Father made him become transgression, so that in the Savior we could become right with the Father. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 30. Because of the Father, you are now in the Savior, Yehoshua, who has become for us wisdom from the Most High. In the Savior, we are put right with the Most High, and have been made set apart, and have been set free from transgression. Philippians chapter 3, verses 8 and 9. I think that all things are worth nothing compared with the greatness of knowing the Savior Yehoshua, my Master. Because of him, I have lost all those things, and now I know they are worthless trash. This allows me to have the Savior and to belong to him. Now I am right with the Most High, not because I followed the law, but because I believed in the Savior. The Father uses my faith to make me right with him. Galatians chapter 3, verses 6 and 7. The scriptures say the same thing about Abraham. Abraham believed the Father, and the Father accepted Abraham's faith, and that faith made him right with the Father. So you should know that the true children of Abraham are those who have faith. Romans chapter 3, verse 22. The Father makes people right with himself through their faith in Yehoshua the Savior. This is true for all who believe in the Savior, because all people are the same. Romans chapter 3, verses 23 through 26. All have transgressed and are not good enough for the Father's glory, and all need to be made right with the Father by his grace, which is a free gift. They need to be made free from transgression through Yehoshua the Savior. The Father gave him as a way to forgive transgression through faith in the blood of Yehoshua's death. This showed that the Father always does what is right and fair, as in the past when he was patient and did not punish people for their transgressions. And the Father gave Yehoshua to show today that he does what is right. The Father did this so he could judge rightly, and so he could make right any person who has faith in Yehoshua. Romans chapter 4, verse 5. But people cannot do any work that will make them right with the Father. So they must trust in Him, who makes even evil people right in His sight. Then the Father accepts their faith, and that makes them right with Him. Romans chapter 5, verse 17. One man transgressed, and so death ruled all people because of that one man. But now those people who accept the Father's full grace and the great gift of being made right with Him will surely have true life and rule through the one man, Yehoshua, our Savior. Titus chapter 3, verses 4 and 5. But when the kindness and love of our Father, our Savior, was shown, He saved us because of His mercy. It was not because of good deeds we did to be right with Him. He saved us through the washing that made us new people through the set-apart Spirit. Romans chapter 8, verses 3 and 4. The law was without power because the law was made weak by our transgressful selves. But the Father did what the law could not do. He sent His own Son to earth with the same human life that others use for transgression. By sending His Son to be an offering to pay for transgression, the Father used a human life to destroy transgression. He did this so that we could be the kind of people the law correctly wants us to be. Now we do not live following our transgressful selves, but we live following the Spirit. Romans chapter 9, verse 30. Those who are not Jews were not trying to make themselves right with the Father, but they were made right with the Father because of their faith. Romans chapter 8, verse 10. Your body will always be dead because of transgression, but if the Savior is in you, then the Spirit gives you life because the Savior made you right with the Father. Romans chapter 8, verses 29 and 30. The Father knew them before He made the world, and He decided that they would be like His Son, so that Yehoshua would be the firstborn of many brothers. The Father planned for them to be like His Son, and those He planned to be like His Son, He also called, and those He called, He also made right with Him, and those He made right, He also glorified. Isaiah chapter 54, verses 14 through 17. I would build you using fairness. You will be safe from those who would hurt you, so you will have nothing to fear. Nothing will come to make you afraid. I will not send anyone to attack you, and you will defeat those who do attack you. See, I made the blacksmith. He fans the fire to make it hotter, and he makes the kind of tool he wants. In the same way, I have made the destroyer to destroy. So no weapon that is used against you will defeat you. You will show that those who speak against you are wrong. These are the good things my servants receive. Their victory comes from me, says the Most High. Romans chapter 10, verse 10. We believe with our hearts, and so we are made right with the Father. And we use our mouths to say that we believe, and so we are saved. Isaiah chapter 61, verse 1. The Master, our Father, has put his Spirit in me, because the Master has appointed me to tell the good news to the poor. He has sent me to comfort those whose hearts are broken, to tell the captives they are free, and to tell the prisoners they are released. John chapter 8, verses 32 and 36. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. So if the Son makes you free, you will be truly free. Romans chapter 8, verse 2. Through the Savior, Yehoshua, the law of the Spirit that brings life made me free from the law that brings transgression and death. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 17. The Most High is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Most High is, there is freedom. Romans chapter 6, verse 22. But now you are free from transgression, and have become slaves of the Most High. This brings you a life that is only for the Most High, and this gives you life forever. Isaiah chapter 9, verses 3 and 4. Father, you have caused the nation to grow and made the people happy, and they have shown their happiness to you, like the joy during harvest time, like the joy of people taking what they have won in war, like the time you defeated Midian. You have taken away their heavy load and the heavy pole from their backs and the rod the enemy used to punish them. Luke chapter 4, verses 18 and 19. The Master has put his Spirit in me, because he appointed me to tell the good news to the poor. He has sent me to tell the captives they are free, and to tell the blind that they can see again. The Father sent me to free those who have been treated unfairly, and to announce the time when the Most High will show his kindness. Luke chapter 10, verse 19. Listen, I have given you power to walk on snakes and scorpions, power that is greater than the enemy has, so nothing will hurt you. Mark chapter 16, verse 17. And those who believe will be able to do these things as proof. They will use my name to force out demons. They will speak in new languages. Revelation chapter 12, verse 11. And our brothers and sisters defeated him by the blood of the Lamb's death, and by the message they preached. They did not love their lives so much that they were afraid of death. 1 John chapter 4, verses 1 through 4. My dear friends, many false prophets have gone out into the world. So do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see if they are from the Most High. This is how you can know the Most High Spirit. Every spirit who confesses that Yehoshua, the Savior, came to earth as a human is from the Most High. And every spirit who refuses to say this about Yehoshua is not from the Most High. It is the spirit of the enemy of the Savior, which you have heard is coming, and now he is already in the world. My dear children, you belong to the Most High and have defeated them, because the Most High's Spirit, who is in you, is greater than the devil, who is in the world. 1 John chapter 1, verse 3. We announce to you what we have seen and heard, because we want you also to have fellowship with us. Our fellowship is with the Most High, the Father, and with His Son, Yehoshua, our Savior. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 9. Father, who has called you to share everything with His Son, Yehoshua, our Master, is faithful. Revelation chapter 3, verse 20. Here I am. I stand at the door and knock. If you hear my voice and open the door, I will come in and eat with you, and you will eat with me. John chapter 14, verse 23. Yehoshua answered, If people love me, they will obey my teaching. My Father will love them and will come to them and make our home with them. Zechariah chapter 2, verse 10. Shout and be glad, Jerusalem. I am coming, and I will live among you, says the Most High. Matthew chapter 18, verse 20. This is true because if 2 or 3 people come together in my name, I am there with them. John chapter 14, verse 21. Those who know my commands and obey them are the ones who love me, and my Father will love those who love me. I will love them and will show myself to them. John chapter 14, verses 4 and 5 and 7. Remain in me, and I will remain in you. A branch cannot produce fruit alone, but must remain in the vine. In the same way, you cannot produce fruit alone, but must remain in me. I am the vine, and you are the branches. If any remain in me, and I remain in them, they produce much fruit. But without me, they can do nothing. If you remain in me and follow my teachings, you can ask anything you want, and it will be given to you. Philippians chapter 2, verses 1 and 2. Does your life in the Savior give you strength? Does His love comfort you? Do we share together in the Spirit? Do you have mercy and kindness? If so, make me very happy by having the same thoughts, sharing the same love, and having one mind and purpose. Psalm 119 and verse 63. I am a friend to everyone who fears you, to anyone who obeys your orders. Ephesians chapter 5, verses 2, 19, and 30. Live a life of love, just as the Savior loved us and gave himself for us as a sweet-smelling offering and sacrifice to the Most High. Speak to each other with psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs, singing and making music in your hearts to the Most High, because we are parts of His body. 1 John chapter 1, verses 5 through 7. Here is the message we have heard from the Savior, and now announce to you. The Most High is light, and in Him there is no darkness at all. So if we say we have fellowship with the Most High, but we continue living in darkness, we are liars and do not follow the truth. But if we live in the light, as the Most High is in the light, we can share fellowship with each other. Then the blood of Yehoshua, the Most High's Son, cleanses us from every transgression. First Peter chapter 2, verse 21. This is what you were called to do, because the Savior suffered for you and gave you an example to follow. So you should do as He did. 1 John chapter 2, verse 6. Whoever says that he lives in the Most High must live as Yehoshua lived. Ephesians chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. You are the Most High's children, whom He loves, so try to be like Him. Live a life of love, just as the Savior loved us and gave Himself for us as a sweet-smelling offering and sacrifice to the Most High. Philippians chapter 2, verses 5 through 8. In your lives, you must think and act like the Savior Yehoshua. The Savior Himself was like the Father in everything. But He did not think that being equal with the Father was something to be used for His own benefit, but He gave up His place with the Father and made Himself nothing. He was born to be a man and became like a servant, and when He was living as a man, He humbled Himself and was fully obedient to the Father, even when that caused His death on a cross. Mark chapter 10, verses 43 through 45. But it should not be that way among you. Whoever wants to become great among you must serve the rest of you like a servant. Whoever wants to become the first among you must serve all of you like a slave. In the same way, the Son of Man did not come to be served. He came to serve others and to give His life as a ransom for many people. John chapter 13, verses 14 and 15. If I, your master and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash each other's feet. I did this as an example, so that you should do as I have done for you. John chapter 13, verse 34. I give you a new command. Love each other. You must love each other as I have loved you. 1 John chapter 3, verse 16. This is how we know what real love is. Yehoshua gave his life for us, so we should give our lives for our brothers and sisters. Romans chapter 15, verses 5 through 7. Patience and encouragement come from the Most High, and I pray that the Most High will help you all agree with each other the way the Savior Yehoshua wants. Then you will all be joined together, and you will give glory to the Most High, the Father of our Master, Yehoshua, our Savior. Yehoshua accepted you, so you should accept each other, which will bring glory to the Father. Colossians chapter 3, verse 13. Get along with each other and forgive each other. If someone does wrong to you, forgive that person, because the Master forgave you. Hebrews chapter 12, verses 2 and 3. Let us look only to Yehoshua, the one who began our faith and who makes it perfect. He suffered death on the cross, but he accepted the shame as if it were nothing, because of the joy that the Father put before him. And now he is sitting at the right side of the Father's throne. Think about Yehoshua's example. He held on while wicked people were doing evil things to him. So do not get tired and stop trying.